October dawn, 1781. I am Charles Cornwallis, the conqueror of Bengal, the victor of Camden. Now I stare across ramparts at enemy guns. 6 bloody years culminate here. My trapped army faces annihilation. The empire trembles in this Virginia tobacco port. You're witnessing history's fulcrum. Not merely battle, but choreographed destruction. French warships, colonial desperation, one fatal miscalculation. Behold how 13 rebellious provinces birth a nation. Watch the mightiest empire learn humility through cannon fire and mathematical precision. Picture my headquarters, maps scattered like autumn leaves, couriers bearing catastrophic news. No rescue fleet cuts through enemy blockade. No reinforcements march from New York. The wolf trap is closing. I choose between honor's sword and soldiers' lives. Months earlier, Washington gambles everything on impossibility. Abandon New York's safety. Trust mercurial French allies. March 400 miles through hostile territory. Coordinate land and sea assault across vast distances. Madness masquerading as strategy. Desperation disguised as genius. Summer heat bakes continental camps outside Manhattan. My soldiers, farmers, shopkeepers, boys face professional killers behind stone walls. 6 years bled our resolve white. Clinton's redcoats mock us from their fortress. Breaking this stalemate demands miracles. Support our channel. Subscribe so you won't miss exciting new videos. Your likes and comments inspire us to create more quality content. Together, we'll make this channel a place of knowledge and inspiration. Thank you for your support. Admiral de Grasse's 28 ships slice Caribbean swells toward Chesapeake Bay. Washington doesn't know if French promises hold water. Campaigns collapse on such uncertainty. Yet he stakes everything on Allied honor. The gamble begins with empty horizons. Yorktown's tobacco warehouses, built for peaceful commerce, now shelter instruments of war. Cornwallis transforms a merchant's haven into fortress. 7,000 veterans dig earthworks where slaves once loaded ships. Commerce yields to conquest. Peace surrenders to preparation. September 5th, naval thunder off Virginia Capes. De Grasse's seamanship humiliates Graves's fleet. For the first time in this war, French flags dominate American waters. The Royal Navy, Britannia's wooden wall, retreats like whipped dogs. The impossible becomes inevitable. You march with Washington's army, 400 miles in 34 days. Continental rags mingle with French silk. Maryland dustcoats international alliance. Local militias swell our ranks. By September's end, 16,000 allies encircle one tobacco port. Mathematics replaces courage. General Washington, grant me battlefield command. Hamilton's voice cracks with desperation. I've shuffled papers while others win glory. The Caribbean orphan demands his moment. Washington sees ambition burning like fever. One nod changes everything. Youth earns its chance at immortality. French engineers map death with scientific precision. Every redoubt measured, every weakness cataloged like botanical specimens. This isn't frontier warfare but European artistry. Trenches advance by geometric theorem. Siegecraft transforms killing into mathematics. Beauty serves destruction's cause. A single quill pen trembles in Cornwallis's fingers as he writes Clinton, "Enemy batteries open tomorrow." We cannot resist long. Each letter marks the empire's retreat. The same hand that signed victory dispatches now pleads for salvation from colonial farmers. October 6th, Allied guns speak with systematic fury. Mortars arc like deadly rainbows, exploding among my redcoats. Solid shot pounds earthworks into powder. French cannoneers work with a clockmaker's precision. Industrial warfare previews future slaughter. Yorktown becomes tomorrow's battlefield. We huddle in cellars while iron rain falls. I've faced frontier ambushes, stood in European line battles, but never endured this mechanized horror. The enemy's fire grows heavier, writes Private Johnson home. God preserve us. Even veterans pray now. Washington personally aims America's first shot. The Virginia planter who refused crowns now commands European-style destruction. Each blast transforms colonists into citizens. Rebellion evolves into revolution. Protest graduates to professional warfare. Symbolism serves strategy with deadly efficiency and calculated theatrical impact. Lafayette positions troops along eastern approaches. The boy who sailed here for adventure now commands divisions. His soldiers advance through British fire with veteran discipline. Revolution forges new leaders from foreign volunteers. Idealism hardens into tactical expertise through blood. Redoubt 10's earthworks rise 10 feet high, bristling with bayonets and cannon. Hamilton volunteers for this death trap. Cold steel only, he whispers. No musket fire, pure courage versus engineering. Minutes later, the Union Jack tumbles like a wounded bird. Simultaneously, Colonel Dupont leads French grenadiers against Redoubt 9. European professionals prove their worth on American soil. Both assaults succeed within heartbeats. My defensive line crumbles like a sandcastle. The mathematical siege advances another calculated step toward checkmate and inevitable surrender. October 16th, my last gamble. Small boats carry soldiers through darkness toward Gloucester Point. Storm winds rise suddenly. Nature herself joins enemy ranks. Dawn reveals a scattered flotilla, drowned hopes. Even weather conspires against His Majesty's forces. Desperation yields to acceptance. I stare across the river at abandoned boats, my escape route now driftwood. No land route remains. No sea rescue arrives. Enemy cannons position within musket range. The mathematical siege reaches its conclusion. Honor demands acknowledgement of tactical genius and strategic inevitability. A drummer boy, barely 16, trembling with terror and duty, climbs our ramparts. His drumbeat cuts through cannon thunder, an ancient signal for parley. Slowly, miraculously, guns fall silent. 6 years of war pause. History holds its breath for negotiation. I send Ross to Washington's tent with white flag and the empire's dignity. The young aide carries more than surrender terms. He bears acknowledgement that colonial farmers have outfought European professionals. Pride bows before tactical reality. Empire yields to republic through proper protocol. Washington dictates terms with ice-cold precision. We march out with honors but cannot display our colors. This distinction matters enormously, personal dignity preserved while acknowledging defeat. The Virginia gentleman understands honors mathematics. Humiliation balanced against humanity's requirements and military necessity. October 19th dawns clear and crisp. Surrender Day arrives with autumn's beauty. My soldiers form ranks for their final parade. Redcoats gleam in morning light. These veterans conquered Charleston, Camden, Guilford Courthouse. Now they march toward captivity with heads high. You witness the surrender field. Enemy troops line both sides of the road like an honor guard. 16,000 Allied soldiers stand in perfect formation. Their uniforms may be patched, but their discipline is absolute. 6 years forge professional armies from amateur militias. General O'Hara carries my sword, Toledo steel, family heirloom, symbol of 3 centuries service to the crown. He approaches Rochambeau first, seeking to surrender only to Europeans. Washington's aide redirects. His Excellency commands. Protocol becomes a political statement. Respect flows both ways. Washington refuses my sword personally. Instead, he designates General Lincoln, the man humiliated at Charleston 18 months past. Lincoln now receives our capitulation. Poetic justice serves strategic purpose. honor restored through calculated gesture, dignity preserved despite defeat's sting and revolution's triumph. Our musicians play "The World Turned Upside Down" as regiments stack arms. Irony cuts deeper than sabers. The world's greatest empire yields to colonial farmers. Traditional order collapses. New republics rise from monarchy's ashes like a phoenix from flames. French soldiers maintain perfect discipline during the ceremony. White uniforms and polished equipment contrast with enemy patchwork. Yet both armies share this moment equally. International alliance achieved what neither nation could accomplish alone. Unity trumps individual strength through coordinated effort. Among our prisoners, Highland veterans of Culloden, German mercenaries who served Frederick, English county battalions with centuries of tradition, all now captives of colonial rabble they once dismissed. Professional pride yields to amateur genius. Experience bows before innovation and determination. Washington watches silently as we surrender. The planter remembers early war contempt. Rabble in arms, we called his soldiers. Now that rabble has conquered the world's finest army through superior strategy. Underestimation becomes the empire's fatal flaw. Arrogance breeds unexpected defeat. October heat mingles with autumn's first chill. Seasons change like political systems. Imperial dominance fades into memory. Colonial independence crystallizes from dream into reality. Nature witnesses humanity's transformation from subjects into citizens. Weather mirrors revolution's atmospheric pressure and change. News crawls across the Atlantic like a wounded animal. London politicians cannot grasp the implications immediately. King George refuses reality. I shall never acknowledge their independence. Royal stubbornness confronts commercial wisdom. Economics ultimately trumps pride. Trade matters more than territorial control in this new age. A London merchant's ledger shows the war's true cost: millions of pounds, thousands of ships, decades of profitable trade lost. Yorktown proves resistance cannot be crushed by military force alone. Commerce offers more profit than conquest. Wisdom overcomes imperial pride. Support our channel. Subscribe so you won't miss exciting new videos. Your likes and comments inspire us to create more quality content. Together, we'll make this channel a place of knowledge and inspiration. Thank you for your support. In Paris, Franklin receives dispatches with quiet satisfaction. The elderly diplomat spent years convincing Europeans that American independence was inevitable. Military victory transforms diplomatic arguments into undeniable fact. Patience yields triumph. Words become reality through cannon fire and strategic coordination. Foreign Minister Vergennes sees opportunity in British humiliation. Colonial success weakens France's traditional enemy while creating a grateful ally. Yorktown justifies massive French investment in rebellion. Revenge tastes sweet after 7 years' war defeats. Strategy serves both idealism and practical interest. Spanish officials calculate benefits from British weakness. Florida, Gulf territories, Caribbean islands might return to Madrid's control. Colonial independence serves multiple European interests against British maritime dominance. Geopolitics shifts across the Atlantic. The balance of power realigns through revolutionary success and imperial failure. Congress receives news with jubilant celebration. Church bells ring across 13 states. Bonfires illuminate October nights. Citizens who endured taxation, inflation, uncertainty finally glimpse victory's dawn. Freedom seems within grasp. Joy spreads like wildfire through cities and countryside alike. Yet Washington warns against premature celebration. The British still hold New York, Charleston, Savannah. War continues until formal peace treaties bear signatures. Victory celebrations must await diplomatic confirmation. Military success requires political validation. Battles won, but war continues through different means. I begin my journey to New York aboard ship, watching Virginia coastline fade. The general who conquered the South sails toward an uncertain future. My military reputation lies in ruins. Yet I will return to London, receive new commands, serve again elsewhere in the Empire. Eliza, I led the assault on Redoubt 10. Hamilton writes his beloved. Our success contributed to victory. The Caribbean orphan has found his battlefield glory. War transforms him from Washington's clerk into a national hero. Ambition finally tastes satisfaction's sweet reward. Lafayette composes letters to European friends on a camp desk made from Yorktown timber. American democracy's triumph validates Enlightenment theories. Philosophical victory transcends military conquest. Ideas prove stronger than armies. Liberty's contagion spreads beyond these shores through the written word and lived example. French soldiers prepare for Caribbean campaigns. Their service here proves European troops can fight successfully in colonial environments. Military knowledge flows both ways across the Atlantic. Tactical innovation spread through international exchange. Professional expertise crosses national boundaries through shared experience. Militias return to farms and workshops with enhanced confidence. They stood beside European professionals and proved equal worth. Colonial inferiority dissolves in victory's afterglow. A new national character emerges from successful resistance. Citizens replace subjects through battlefield achievement and proven capability. Prisoners face uncertain futures. Some await exchange for enemy captives. Others remain imprisoned until peace negotiations conclude. A few may desert, settle here permanently, becoming citizens instead of subjects. War transforms loyalties through circumstance and opportunity rather than ideology alone. Yorktown residents emerge from cellars and hiding places. Their town bears siege scars, shattered buildings, cratered streets, unexploded shells. Yet they witnessed history's pivot point. The Revolutionary War's climax occurred in their neighborhood. Survival becomes testimony to historical significance and personal endurance. Washington establishes winter quarters, maintaining pressure on remaining garrisons. The general who gambled everything on a coordinated campaign now manages victory's political consequences with equal skill. Military genius proves equally adept at diplomatic maneuvering and strategic patience during the war's final phase. Captured supplies include 75 cannons, thousands of muskets, tons of powder. Weapons that once served the Empire now arm the Republic. Iron forged in Birmingham, foundries kills for colonial independence. Enemy resources become revolutionary assets through fortune of war and tactical victory. European military observers study siege methods carefully. Combined arms coordination between artillery, infantry, naval forces establishes new tactical standards. These battlefields become laboratories for military innovation. War drives technological advancement through necessity. Knowledge spreads through international observation and professional curiosity. Loyalist colonists face harsh reality after surrender. Protection cannot be guaranteed anymore. Some flee to Nova Scotia or Britain itself. Others attempt reconciliation with victorious rebels. Civil War's personal costs multiply for families torn between competing loyalties and practical necessities. Native tribes recalculate their diplomatic positions carefully. British defeat eliminates one source of weapons and alliance. Yet colonial expansion threatens tribal territories more directly than distant administration ever did. Indigenous peoples face uncertain futures between competing empires and an expansionist republic. Enslaved people watch white masters' conflicts with complex emotions. Some supported British promises of freedom through military service. Others remained loyal to colonial owners. Military victory doesn't resolve slavery's contradiction with revolutionary ideals of liberty and natural rights for all humanity. Women who supported the war effort through fundraising, nursing, intelligence gathering finally see their sacrifices vindicated. Martha Washington and other military wives endured years of uncertainty. Victory honors their dedication to the independence struggle. Female contributions receive recognition through successful conclusion and national gratitude. Colonial merchants anticipate restored trade relationships eagerly. British commercial restrictions will disappear with political independence. New markets in Europe and the Caribbean promise economic prosperity. Military victory enables commercial expansion. Economic freedom follows political independence through diplomatic recognition and treaty negotiation. Yorktown establishes the precedent for successful colonial rebellion against European empires. Other imperial territories study these methods carefully. Revolutionary ideology spreads beyond North America's borders. Ideas become more dangerous than armies. Liberty proves contagious across continents through example and inspiration. European intellectuals celebrate Enlightenment principles' practical triumph. Democratic government and individual liberty prove viable alternatives to monarchy and aristocracy. Colonial success validates philosophical theories in political practice. Abstract ideas become concrete governmental systems through revolution and constitutional innovation and popular sovereignty. British military professionals analyze their tactical failures systematically. Overconfidence, inadequate intelligence, poor coordination led to disaster. These lessons will influence future imperial campaigns worldwide. Defeat becomes education. Failure teaches wisdom that victory cannot provide. Experience gains through painful but instructive loss. French military engineers document siege techniques for future reference. Scientific warfare methods prove superior to traditional European approaches. Technical innovation drives military evolution. Yorktown becomes a tactical textbook for future generations. Knowledge advances through systematic observation and careful documentation of successful methods. Colonial artillery officers gain confidence from battlefield success. Their foundries and gunsmiths produced weapons equal to European standards. Industrial independence supports political independence effectively. Technology serves ideology. Manufacturing capacity enables military resistance and ultimately political sovereignty through economic self-sufficiency and industrial capability. The alliance between France and America demonstrates international cooperation's potential power. Traditional European balance of power politics faces new challenges from ideological partnerships. Diplomatic innovation parallels military success. Shared principles create stronger bonds than mere convenience or temporary mutual interest and strategic necessity. October 19th becomes America's first national holiday. Anniversary celebrations will commemorate this decisive victory for generations. Collective memory transforms military achievement into cultural identity. History becomes mythology. Yorktown enters the American consciousness as a sacred founding moment. Memory serves national unity through commemorative ritual. Yorktown's true legacy isn't British defeat but American birth. 13 separate colonies discovered they could function as one nation. Military coordination created political unity. Shared sacrifice forged common identity. Revolution became republic through collective action and mutual commitment to independence. Yet the war's most profound impact remains invisible on this October day. Ideas unleashed here will inspire democratic revolutions worldwide. French citizens will storm the Bastille. Latin American colonies will claim independence. Liberty becomes contagious across continents. Revolution spreads through example rather than conquest. 50 years later, Lafayette returns as the nation's honored guest. The elderly Marquis visits this battlefield, now peaceful farmland. Revolutionary comrades became founding fathers. Their impossible dreams survived into reality. Memory honors sacrifice through continued freedom and constitutional government and democratic self-determination. Today, you walk where Washington walked, where Hamilton charged, where Cornwallis surrendered. October 19th, 1781, the day America stopped being colonial and started becoming American. The world turned upside down, never turning back to old certainties.